going on, brother? My name is Jamari, and I do a practice called heart divination or heart readings. This comes from my father's lineage, so it's an ancestral practice that holds a lot of potency, especially for Black men, which is who I do it for here. One thing to know about this practice as well is that I don't use a lot of like general spiritual jargon or expressions. The divinations are very specific. They're so specific, it might just be for even one person. So if you landed on this video, make sure you watch it and make sure that this is not for you. And make sure to like and share, because if it's not for you, it might be for somebody who you know. All right, so the topic for this divination so this is for somebody who seems to be pretty brokenhearted, it seems, over a relationship. And it's a relationship with your father. So brokenhearted over a relationship with your father. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, so it looks like your whoever this is, you have like an older father, like maybe he's not the typical average age for however old you are. It seems like maybe he started not that he started young, but it seems like maybe he is just someone who's had a number of children, even into older age. So he maybe started young, but it also just seems like he's had a number of children even into older age. So he's a little bit older. He's a pretty traditional in his masculinity, in the way that he kind of shows up. So he's not very emotional. He's, the kind of man who just doesn't express a lot of like intimacy or emotion. And it seems like that has been not only a challenge for you, but it's left you kind of feeling like you're not super connected with him. That you don't really have the kind of relationship with him that you would like. It's not that he wasn't or hasn't been a good dad, but it's also like, how do you really gauge when you don't really feel like you have a relationship with him, right? Like he was there to some extent, he provided, but when there's no emotional intimacy in a relationship, it can kind of feel like the person's not really there. They're there, but they're not really there. And I don't get a sense that this, your dad is with your mom. So this would be somebody who you weren't necessarily in the household with all the time either. It almost sounds like you a little bit feel like guilty or like guilty that you feel the way that you do, and that it hurts you that you didn't have the relationship or don't have the relationship that you desire with him, because a part of you feels like, well, he didn't really do anything wrong, right? Like, people who, maybe their dad like wasn't there at all, or maybe their dad was abusive. And so because that wasn't the case for you, you're like, okay, if he's just like not super connective or not super, emotional, or we don't have a lot of intimacy, or we don't share with each other, like that's not the worst thing in the world. Like he's never been mean to me or anything like that. And so you have this kind of like guilt or shame, like I shouldn't, I'm asking for too much, or I'm being too sensitive even, right? Like I shouldn't be so sensitive about the fact that, I shared something with him that was exciting in my life and he didn't really have much of a reaction, or it doesn't ever seem like he really wants to like talk to me and have a real conversation. Yeah. But Spirit wants you to know, like, one, it's okay to be a sensitive being. It's okay to be somebody who just has needs. Like, we all have emotional intimacy needs. We all want to feel seen. We all want to feel connected to the people around us. We all want to feel like the people who love us, like, care about the things that we care about. Those are human needs, brother. Like, you're allowed to have human needs and human desires. And yes, many of us have fathers, and especially if he's older, who come from a generation where that was not the model of masculinity that they got, and so what they received maybe isn't rooted in that kind of emotional intimacy, vulnerability, and expression. And so it's okay that you desire something different than maybe what he's able to give. And it's okay that it hurts you, that you aren't necessarily having that experience with him. So how can you go about addressing this? So one thing that's important is for you to make space for your own emotions around it, for your own heartbreak, for your own sadness around it. What you don't want to do is recreate the same kind of relationship with emotion and vulnerability that your dad experiences, which is to ignore it or shut it down or tell yourself that your feelings aren't valid. It's important for you to really take that time to honor, like, it's truly okay for you to feel the way that you do and to desire more of that intimacy. The other thing that Spirit is wanting you to do, though, is to almost like shift your perspective and not focus so much on the fact that you aren't able to get this from your dad. Because as long as you focus on that, you're going to miss opportunities to experience it from other relationships and people in your life. You're not at a deficit because you didn't get that from your dad. And unfortunately, we live in a culture where, like, if we don't experience certain things from our parents, we're actually given the messages that we might be at a deficit, right? Boys who grow up without a father are told they're at a deficit. And that's not inherently true, right? Like, yes, it's important for you to have meaningful relationships with other men and with older men in that way. Just because you get it from your dad does not mean you're going to be at a deficit around it for your entire life. It is possible to make other connections that meet those needs for you. So Spirit's wanting you to not hyper fixate on your dad. Receive what your dad is able to give and receive it as his way of love, because it truly is for your dad. Like, he loves you, and he really is demonstrating his love in the best ways that he possibly can. That might not be true for everybody, but in your case, it is true. And so honor the fact that he's able to be vulnerable to the level at which he's able to be vulnerable. And what he is able to show up for you as is a true expression of the way that he is able to love. And it is okay for you to say that you need more and to go out and to get that and be open to that from elsewhere. I feel like there is going to be an older gentleman, or there is one already, who is willing and wanting to take you up under your wing. And honestly, I feel like whoever this reading is particularly for may also be, like, queer. Like, you might also be queer. And so it seems like this might be like an older queer gentleman who genuinely, like, sees you as a son and is willing to have that kind of emotional intimacy and, like, guidance and support that you aren't able to get from your dad in the same kind of way. And so be open to that, be on the lookout for that, and don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself for the fact that this is something that you desire. You desire to have that connection and to have everybody wants to have those, like, wise elders in their lives and those older people in their lives who care about them and, get excited when they accomplish things, and care when you're hurting. Like everybody wants that. You're not by yourself in wanting that, and we aren't all able to get it from our parents. You're not alone in not experiencing that. But there are other people out there who do want to show us that love, and Spirit is saying that that is available to you. And the way that you open yourself up to it is not by ignoring the heartbreak that you feel around not getting it from your dad, but for honoring it, for honoring the fact that as a human, you have these needs, and that they're beautiful, and that they're worthy of being fulfilled, and that Spirit will fulfill them. All right, my brother, I love you so much.